Louise Morris is a journalist, audio and TV producer, having mainly produced and presented arts and factual documentaries for BBC Radio 4, and in TV has acted as producer for a live daily news show. She's a trustee and council member of LAB and wrote the chapters on women's rights and cultural resistance in LAB's book, Voices of Latin America. Nakury is a rap artist and a communicator, cultural manager and organizer from Turrialba, Costa Rica. She's the founder of Union Break, which produces hip hop culture in Central America. Her albums include Rima que Ilumina, Via, and O, and they have been presented in several countries in the Americas and Europe. Louise and Nakury's presentation will be The Power of Hip Hop in Protest with Nakury.
Yeah, I just want to start firstly by thanking Nakury for also joining us.
Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone.
And I'm sure you'll have a lot of questions for her, but I'm just going to introduce our discussion. So all over Latin America, musicians are deeply involved in defending the rights of their communities, whether it's through searing lyrics condemning oppression, revalidating marginalized identities and musical transitions, performing at protests, initiating social programs, or simply by providing a cathartic release in tough times. Music has the power to mobilize people around an issue, and when performed during demonstrations, heightens somatic solidarity, the physical experience of gathering together in protest, connecting that physical feeling of solidarity to an emotional one. Songs can be communication channels in themselves, where society's dissonance is laid bare. It's a dimension of social life, helping us to understand the realities and complexities of the world we live in. And just to introduce Nakury, she's a very inspiring musician and activist from Costa Rica who got into hip hop through dance as a teenager and quickly became part of a tight-knit youth community who would organize public parties in their local basketball court to raise money for younger kids to buy books to go to school. For Nakury, hip hop and community activism have always been bound together. And we have a video of an interview we conducted last weekend just to avoid any connection issues, but I'll let Nakury jump in quickly to say hello now as well before that video is shared.
Hello, hello. Well, I'm so happy to be here. As we say here in Costa Rica, pura vida to everybody, sending you pure good energy and pure life for everything what you're doing. It's amazing that we're talking about all these issues. Thank you for doing this. It's important. It's very, very important for our communities. So thank you, and let's do it.
Well, my name is Nakury. I'm from Costa Rica, a small country in Central America, in the middle of this enormous continent. And I'm a journalist, but I'm also an MC, a rapper, a singer. And I also do a lot of community work because I love it. The funny thing is that when I learn about hip hop and when I start connecting with this hip hop community, I didn't even know the name of it. I just felt the vibe. Hip hop was the only alternative I had. I mean, even though I come from a family, well, I just grew up with my mom. She was a single mom, and we grew up in a barrio that was very, very close, an area that was like very violent. And you know, hip hop was in the streets. People was just hearing that music, dancing that movement, doing some graffiti art. It's so powerful because it's so easy to access. The fact that hip hop came from migrant people, from African people, was amazing because it also connected us to our roots, to our past, to our history. And that was amazing. And also the fact that in these moments that we were dancing or we were singing or whatever, we had time to talk about what was going on in our daily lives. And then we realized that we have similar concerns, similar needs. Suddenly we could connect all these needs and start thinking about how we can work those needs, you know.
And how do you use hip hop in your workshops, for example, to spark these conversations with communities?
Well, the interesting and beautiful thing about hip hop is that it's so attractive. what I start doing is a rap workshop, for example. And we start singing about, I start teaching a little bit about, what does it mean poetry, what is rhythm, and how we combine both, and also about the concept, how we can share as a community what we think through these tools. And then suddenly you start seeing how people start talking about what they live in their daily life, and they start talking about, you don't even have to ask them. And it's the same if it's in Costa Rica or if it's in England, it's like, okay, suddenly you start seeing how people talk about what they feel, what concerns them, what makes them happy, what makes them sad. And it becomes a sense, a very nice place, because it's like a place for sensibility, a place for just showing their true self and sharing it with another people and to be heard. And it becomes also like a therapy. Like 6 months ago, I was doing a workshop in the women's jail here in Costa Rica. And it was amazing to see, first of all, these amazing poets. And I was like, oh, wow. I mean, I haven't seen like this quality of poetry since a long time ago. It was amazing. And then them speaking about their reality from their point of view, because society sometimes is very punitive. It's like, oh, these people is there because they deserve it, and justice is gonna change their life. But the reality is that their stories are way more complicated and diverse and have so many different layers that need to be heard.
And I also wanted to ask, have you ever actually performed at a protest or a manifestation or as part of a protest?
Yeah, for sure. Always. Suddenly you receive a WhatsApp and it's like, okay, tomorrow we're going to make an event in front of the parliament, and we're going to speak about what's going on with a mind that wants to go to a community and pollute the water. And then you go, it's from one day to the other, and then you go to the place and there's suddenly 300, 500 people there, and there is also somebody that brought a sound system, a microphone, and you see the biggest artists in Costa Rica, they're there, speaking, saying words, but also singing and making people happy in a tough place, because we had to learn how to fight with happiness, rebel happiness, It's like, okay, all these business people want to take out the real richness of our community. We're not just gonna be sad, we're not just gonna be depressed, we're gonna be singing, we're gonna put up the joy, and with that joy, we're gonna keep on fighting, and we're gonna keep on talking about what's going on. And you know who we learned that from? From the native populations here in Costa Rica. That's the way they have been fighting these 500 years that had passed, defending nature, defending language, defending culture, defending traditions, defending history,
How important is the role of musicians as social organizers in Latin America?
So yeah, musicians have a big role in these social issues, because we are, through the senses, waking up the feelings of a lot of people that sometimes are dormant. And we're not necessarily the activists that are doing the most, because there are a lot of unknown activists that we have to remember them and we have to acknowledge them. The fact that an artist is not thinking only about the commercial issues and is thinking about the social issues and are speaking about that and are gathering people and are inspiring people to do something about it, it's very powerful. And it's making a real change in our society. So I think that the fact that we also have a big fan base and that we speak about this, and that our fan base also get to have this information from us and can share it to their immediate network, change a lot of things in our society. And it's the way we have found to make it. Because here in our countries, getting to have information is difficult. Now, even more difficult when all these newspapers, if you want to receive the information, you have to pay. And not many people can pay through internet, and not many people can even pay because they don't have the money. So we as an artist, sometimes we get to have the information, we make a screenshot and we put it in our social media so people can read what's going on. Because many times that inaction of people is because they don't even know what's going on.